Right now at 5, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs into law. Residents in the state of Kansas must be 21 years of age to buy tobacco.
And we've got another very warm day ahead of us. We mentioned earlier in the week that temperatures would continue to rise till Friday, and they certainly are. And we're still watching those storm chances tomorrow as well. We'll talk about all that coming up.
And our very own Yana Hatola shows us how local law enforcement agencies are helping teach safe gun storage in the home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So another nice start to our day out there. Another beautiful day ahead of us.
Yeah.
Ahead of some storm chances. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned this to our producers when I got here. Something strange last night, or well, this morning.
Okay.
I ran to a total of 6 cars on my way here.
Well, is your vehicle okay?
I didn't hit 6 guys.
You ran into them, you know.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I got jokes this morning.
I
Okay.
saw only 6 cars.
6 cars.
And 4 of them were here on 69 coming up to the station. And it was very bizarre. I was like, did something happen overnight that I just didn't,
Did you
I slept
accidentally
through?
come in an hour earlier?
No, it was just very strange. But we know later, of course, there'll be plenty of cars on the roadway. Let's talk quick about our severe chances for tomorrow. Now, there's some good news to this. As you can see, that elevated area of yellow has been scooted very far west now. It's still got clipping our western counties, but it's a lot further west than what it was. And the low-risk area is encompassing a lot of southeast Kansas and has been expanded slightly eastward. And then we've got a few thunderstorm chances as we head into our Saturday morning. So, again, tomorrow, a lot of new information. Like I said, this is a very fluid situation in terms of tomorrow's storm chances. So here's the latest thinking on what's going to happen. We are looking at the thunderstorms developing, rolling into our western counties after 7. You can see we got some pretty good thunderstorms. Could be strong to severe, but watch how quickly this line falls apart and just skirts our northern counties. And then by early Saturday morning, it's gone. It won't be until later in the morning where we could see some additional showers and storms. So that is definitely good news. Let's skip straight ahead to a quick look at temperatures across the area. We got 53 Iola, Fort Scott, 55 Miami, Joplin, Carthage, and 53 in Neosho. As we get our day started, partly cloudy skies up to 70 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs pushing 80, maybe the lower to mid 80s for some of us. Partly cloudy skies out there. We'll take a much more in-depth look at your forecast here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Webb City Police identified the suspect in a weekend homicide investigation. That suspect is 51-year-old Nicholas Berry of Branson. Police are still searching for Berry and say he should be considered armed and dangerous. Authorities say on Sunday they were called to a Webb City home about a disturbance, and when they got there, they found 39-year-old Maria Whittaker of Joplin unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. Court documents say Berry stabbed Whittaker over an argument about money. A survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation finds guns are often stored in an unsafe way at home. KOAM's Yana Hatola talked with a local sheriff and a shooting range about how to properly store your firearms.
A Kaiser Family Foundation survey found that 3 in 4 adult gun owners have a gun either unlocked, loaded, or kept with ammunition in their home. Cherokee County Sheriff David Crowe says they respond to a few incidents a year where a child has gotten hold of a gun.
Kids are curious, and so when they come across guns, they may see on TV or video games and think that they're a toy and not understand the seriousness of playing with a gun. And so should they get a hold of a gun, if it's properly locked, then they shouldn't be able to have an accidental discharge.
The Sheriff's Office partners with Project Child Safe, an education program which provides free gun locks. Joplin Center Fire also provides gun locks free of charge. John Pierce is the Chief Range Safety Officer. He tells people once you have a gun, you must be conscious about safety and look for a trigger lock and safe.
I have grandchildren, and I don't want my grandchildren accessing those. We also we've taught our kids and we've taught our grandchildren how to handle firearms, but we're always with them when we do that.
Liam Gomez has owned a gun for 6 years and keeps it locked up in a closet.
Of course, we always have to make sure it's not loaded. There's no ammunition in it, not in the magazines, not in the chamber. I usually like to keep my bolt rack back and locked like that. and I'll keep it in a case where only I can open it.
Keeping it safe from anyone unless they know how to get in the case. Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
If you're interested in a free gun lock, you can find out how to get one through Project Child Safe. More information is on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs a bill that will require Kansans to be 21 or older to legally buy tobacco products, and that takes effect July 1st. The current age to buy cigarettes, electronic cigarettes, and tobacco products is 18. But the bill received bipartisan support in the legislature last month. The federal government raised its age to buy tobacco products to 21 in 2019, and Kansas could have lost federal funds for substance abuse programs if it did not pass the bill. Kansas joins 41 other states that have increased the age to 21. Well, springtime means time to do some yard work, but be careful before you dig into the ground. Spire Gas wants its customers to dig safe even before they dig. It's not just gas lines underground, but electricity and other utilities. And all of these things can be a dangerous combination for a homeowner with a shovel. Mike Fornelli from Spire Gas wants to remind customers to call and have their property checked before digging into that springtime yard work.
Homeowners and the people that don't think about that, if you're going to go put in a mailbox or a bush or anything, anytime you put a shovel in the ground, you really need to call and make sure there's no utilities in the way to keep you out of harm's way.
That number to call, 811. Just call 811.com. Go to that website. Call 811.com, to schedule an inspection before you dig and dig safe. The city of Tulsa, Oklahoma is taking a new look at a painful part of its history. It's hoping what they find could bring some closure to some families who were victims of the Tulsa Race Massacre back in 1921. Scott Martin reports.
Some of the bodies that were exhumed from this corner of Oak Lawn Cemetery were the ones sent off for DNA testing. Genealogists say that the bodies that they tested had DNA left over from the 18 to 1900s. A giant step to find out the truth.
We hope that we can get a greater understanding of this tragic event that happened in our nation's history.
Forensic scientists like Danny Helwig and genealogists have unearthed enough DNA to link 6 bodies to possible relatives and where they could live. This list here shows one body could be tied to names Huntley or Daniel and from areas near Coweta County, Georgia.
The important part here is this will further the investigation. Even if these are not race massacre victims, we will gain insightful and massive information that will help us galvanize and head towards a better understanding of, number one, what happened, and number two, how to proceed forward.
It's now a nationwide search to get to the bottom of who the individuals are. Genealogists are asking for people who see the names or think they have ties to them to be open to DNA testing.
If somebody recognizes it and understands, oh yes, my line came to Tulsa, or even if your line didn't come to Tulsa, maybe it was your grandmother's or your great-grandmother's brother who came to Tulsa.
Intermountain Forensics has spearheaded the DNA part of the grave investigation. Allison Wild says the best way to identify the bodies is comparing DNA. If you've done DNA tests through things like Ancestry.com, Wild says they'll walk you through getting it to a system they use to compare it to bodies from Oak Lawn Cemetery.
Maybe your family lives across the country in California. Look back into your family tree and see where they were living in the late 1800s and the early 1900s.
Mayor G.T. Bynum and the genealogists say that this is just one big step forward in this project. To keep it going, the city was also awarded a $1 million Emmett Till grant.
Forensic scientists in Tulsa have 3 more bodies they believe they can extract DNA from. As they release the identities of some, they hope people with those names or family members with those names in certain locations will come forward with more information. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, MSSU baseball is one of the best in the country right now. We'll show you how they do it with Chris in sports. Plus, a daughter donates her organ to her father to save his life. This makes us wonder, are you a registered organ donor? And suicide is now the 11th leading cause of death. We'll have more details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
The Missouri Southern Lions have been one of the best baseball teams in the country this season. Right now, the Lions are 30-10 overall, ranked 17th in the nation. And there are a lot of reasons for their success this spring, but no doubt one of the biggest is their ability to hit the long ball.
The Missouri Southern Lions have already hit the 30-win mark this season.
Playing pretty good right now. I feel like we're pretty consistent. We've been pretty consistent all year. I think our guys are confident. I think our guys believe in each other, and so I feel like we're in a good spot, but there's other teams that are also in a good spot.
The Lions' high-powered offense has been the catalyst for the team this spring. They lead the MIAA in hits and runs and also have a conference-best 83 home runs.
Right now we're just super confident. We trust everybody in the lineup, and if one guy's not doing it that day, the next guy usually is. So we're at a good spot to be, and just playing with confidence and trust.
Senior Matt Miller leads the MIAA individually with 15 home runs. Earlier this season, the Aurora, Missouri kid became the program's all-time home run leader with 50 and counting.
It means a lot. You grow up around here, you see everybody doing all the great things around Joplin, the Southwest area, and just to be kind of put my name in that record, I guess, that record books is pretty special to me.
I've seen some of the hardest hit baseballs from Matt Miller.
Just try to hit the ball hard, and good things will happen for me.
That's one thing he can do. He can slug the ball, and sometimes if he struggles, you keep him in there because he has a chance to hit a home run, and he's done that, basically throughout his whole career. But, Matt's developed into a consistent hitter.
Missouri Southern has 9 MIAA games remaining. Heading into this weekend's series against Newman, they're 18-6 in the league, just 1 game back of first place.
Baseball is all about getting hot at the right time, right? So we just got to hang in there, and hopefully at the end of the year, everybody's confident. We're having fun. We're trusting each other. I think that's all we really need to do.
Everybody's going to give us our best shot, and as long as we stay focused and can keep competing like we have been, I think we'll be all right.
Missouri Southern's 83 home runs is 19 more than the team with the second most in the conference. Lions open their weekend series against Newman on Friday night at 6 p.m. Well, still to come, one of Russia's most active volcanoes erupts, causing several villages to be engulfed in ash. And we're going to take another look at this beautiful Thursday forecast and those rain chances tomorrow when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for checking that forecast. As we mentioned earlier, the elevated severe threat's been scaled back significantly in southeast Kansas. It's still there for our far western counties, but we've got that lower end risk that encompasses a bigger area, and it has been expanded slightly eastward. And we have a shot of maybe a few thunderstorms Saturday morning. Let's take a look at this. So here's what the current thinking is. As I mentioned, this is a very fluid situation, and I have no doubt we'll have some new information as we head through today and into tomorrow afternoon as well. So we start our day tomorrow. It's not going to be too bad. We're looking at temperatures pushing the 80s. And then by 7, 8 o'clock, we see this line of storms develop in our western counties, hence why that elevated risk is still out there. This is our best shot for strong to severe thunderstorms. But now watch how quickly that line falls apart. And now we've just got some stronger storms in our northern counties. And then by early Saturday morning, it's all gone. And then our best chance tomorrow is going to be late morning. We've got a brief opportunity for maybe some scattered showers and storms. There could be a strong storm or two tomorrow afternoon, Saturday morning, but otherwise just some thunderstorms. We're clear right now, 55 in Joplin, south-southeast breeze at 7. Across the area, 53 Fort Scott, Iola, 51 Chanute, 55 in Miami, 53 Neosho, and 55 in Carthage. We get our day started, partly cloudy skies. The good news is, we could have some breezy conditions, but it's not expected to be as windy as we were originally thinking, which is good. Up to the 70s by late morning, and because we're warming up a little quicker, we're looking to push about 80 this afternoon. Some of us in southeast Kansas could even make the lower, possibly mid-80s. Partly cloudy skies for the afternoon. We head into this evening. We drop back down to a low of 53 under those partly cloudy skies again. And then tomorrow, again, pushing near 80, maybe even slightly above. Now, Saturday, we're going to start out warm, 76, but then that cold front with those storms in the morning pushes through. That knocks us down a little bit. We're a little cooler Sunday. Nice again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, watching thunderstorm chances Tuesday evening into early Wednesday morning. A nurse practitioner in North Carolina recently donated a kidney to save a patient's life, and that patient was her own father. Destiny Patterson reports on their extraordinary experience.
Closer.
Oh. For Larry Koch and Lauren Herlihy, we're already close.
I know.
They've always had a tight relationship.
He's been a great dad.
When his kidney disease progressed to stage 4 last summer, the then 77-year-old was told dialysis might be the next step if he didn't get a donor, and fast.
This really was probably a narrow window for him, and realistically speaking, living donation was really his only option.
Herlihy knew she could offer the quickest solution.
It wasn't a choice for me, really. I didn't want to see him go through the final sort of decade of his life on dialysis.
The decision was emotional for both of them.
And I was always a little concerned about what the impact on her would be. I just didn't want any risk.
It was one that Herlihy says was obvious, due in part to her expertise in the medical field at UNC Health.
I really just believe so strongly in science and modern medicine and all the ways that this process has been sort of perfected over the years.
They both did really well, both bounced back quickly.
And they left with a peace of mind.
This was certainly a way to give him the best next 10, 15, 20 years.
And another memory together each year when Coke's birthday rolls around.
These are little kidneys.
Always remember March 21st.
Oh, yes.
Of my, just before my 78th birthday.
This time of year has turned into a celebration of life for this family.
Now, dad and daughter are both recovering well. The doctor also says Coke will need to take an anti-rejection drug for the rest of his life. That brings us to our question, though, for you this morning. Are you a registered organ donor? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, for the first time in history, the White House has declared a drug to be an emerging threat in the country. The Biden administration made the declaration about the powerful synthetic opioid fentanyl combined with xylazine. Xylazine is an animal tranquilizer, also known as tranq or tranq dope. Officials say it has been found in almost all 50 states and is linked to an increasing number of overdose deaths. The Drug Enforcement Administration says tranq was found in 23% of fentanyl powder and 7% of fentanyl pills it seized in 2022. People who use the synthetic drug say it can extend the duration of the high. While the FDA has approved xylazine for use in veterinary medicine, it is not approved for use in humans. Experts say when used by drug users, it can leave severe skin ulcers and rotting skin that could lead to amputation. Vice President Kamala Harris will hold an interagency task force meeting on reproductive rights at the White House on Wednesday. Comes as the Biden administration is set to propose a new rule aimed at protecting the privacy of women seeking abortion. Policy would prohibit the disclosure of protected health information by regulated entities such as health insurance companies, providers, and others, specifically in regards to an investigation against a person who either seeks, obtains, or provides reproductive services. A senior administration official says the proposed policy would take existing guidance one step further. Right now, the guidance protects the privacy of patients under certain circumstances, but officials say they found some providers fearful about following the rule when subpoenaed. The suicide rate is climbing in the U.S., reversing a 2-year decline. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a report on Thursday, which showed the rate of suicide returning to a near record high in 2021. The death rate was 4 times higher among men than women that year. It was the 11th leading cause of death nationwide and the 2nd leading cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 34. Well, a new study says positive thinking might help slow down memory loss in older adults. Researchers from Yale University found those who did think optimistically, about aging had a higher chance of recovering from mild cognitive impairment, which is an early stage of memory loss. Study participants over 65 were asked whether they felt useless the more they aged, and those who were optimistic about getting older were 30% more likely to recover from any memory loss compared to those who had a negative belief. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, we've got ourselves another great day across the 4 states ahead of some storm chances tomorrow. We'll take a look at all of that coming up.
Right now at 5:30, a local museum for unsung heroes inducts 2 people.
We've got ourselves another wonderful day across the 4 states, but we do have those storm chances moving in tomorrow evening. We'll talk about that coming up.
And we take you to Carmine's in Joplin to learn more about how that business took second place in a pizza competition.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:30 on the dot. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another pretty decent day for us, another nice start out there. However, we're still watching those storm chances as we head into our Friday. Right now, there's some good news in terms of these storm chances. As you can see, the elevated risk from yesterday has been backed up significantly to the west. Still includes some of our western counties, and we still have that low end risk in the dark green out here for those strong, possibly severe thunderstorms, and then a few scattered storms for us on Saturday morning. So here's what the situation is looking like right now. And as we've mentioned, this is a very fluid situation, so we could have changes by the time we get to our noon newscast today, and even as we head into tomorrow morning. But about 7, 8 o'clock, we'll see this line of storms in our western counties. This is our best opportunity for some strong, possibly severe storms. However, watch how quickly it breaks apart, and then maybe some stronger storms in our far northern counties, but that's it. And by early Saturday morning, it's gone. It'll be later in the morning on Saturday where we have the possibility, as a cold front rolls through, to see some additional showers and thunderstorms, but those are anticipated just to be thunderstorms, nothing severe. 55 in Joplin right now, south-southeast breeze at 7 across the area. It's a pretty decent start. 54 in Fort Scott, a little cooler in Parsons, 45, 51 Chetopa, 55 Miami, and 54 Neosho, Monette, and Carthage. We get our day started while those partly cloudy skies, temperatures pushing right about 70 by late morning, possibly even some lower 70s out there, as we're expected to be much warmer today. Could have some breezy conditions, but the good news is we're not looking at significant wind gusts today, so that's definitely good news. Temperatures pushing about 80 degrees, some of us maybe even in the lower 80s under those partly cloudy skies. We head into this evening. Nice mild evening. Look at this. 69 at 8, 61 by 10, partly cloudy, dropping back down eventually to a low of 53. As we look ahead, we're going to still push around 80 tomorrow. Then we'll start Saturday in the mid-70s, but once that cold front rolls through, we're going to drop back through the lower 60s. We're in the mid-60s Sunday, lower 70s Monday, sunny skies looking pretty good. Watching the possibility of maybe some strong storms on Tuesday evening, so we'll keep an eye on that. We continue to warm, though. We're hanging out near 80, if not at 80, through Thursday of next week. A few more storm chances Thursday and Friday, and that does cool us down a little bit, lower 70s, upper 60s, heading into next weekend. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. On Wednesday, Kansas U.S. Senator Jerry Moran stopped by the National Safety Apparel facility in Baxter Springs for a tour and to talk to local Kansans. Moran spoke with residents about what jobs are available as well as what jobs are needed in Southeast Kansas. National Safety Apparel makes different types of clothing for the post office workers. It includes industrial clothing such as jackets, helmets, and gloves. The Lowell Milken Center for Unsung Heroes honors 2 unsung heroes. On Wednesday, the center honored the great Onondaga Chief Hiawatha and Olympian Billy Mills. The event included a reception and discussion with guest of honor Billy Mills. He is the Olympic gold winner of the 10,000 meter at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. 3 students were also awarded $100 for writing and performing a poem about the leader we need. Joplin teens are celebrating the city's 150th birthday by recreating Joplin's iconic landmarks. The teens had to create their builds with donated Legos and $100 for special Lego blocks. Teams of teens spent about 13 hours on average building since December.
We've realized at Landmark Builds that no one teaches local history, not as a child or as an adult. So the Joplin Sesquicentennial is a perfect time to talk about history, and we developed this Lego competition so that teens could learn more about it and share their knowledge and their storytelling through their builds with our community.
Today, the city of Joplin is showing the movie Bonnie and Clyde at Landreth Park to celebrate Joplin's 150th birthday. Pitt State construction students get a chance to meet with businesses from across the country. On Wednesday, the university hosted its Construction Expo. Officials say it featured more than 100 vendors and about 800 people attended. Students got to test out the latest industry equipment and meet with businesses about potential job opportunities.
industry of construction has changed because we have such a labor shortage and trying to get people in that we're trying to figure out how can we automate more, how can we do more with some of this equipment. Like over here we've got a laser screed going, and that can help replace 3 or 4 people as we're working the concrete.
The Construction Expo started in 2013 with only one company. Well, local pizzeria went to Las Vegas for a pizza competition recently and received 2nd place overall. Carmine's Pizza is a local pizzeria that is well known in the community, and recently they traveled to Las Vegas for the U.S. World Pizza Championship. There were 90 contestants in the traditional category. Team Testa, including Bill Carmine Cornell, all finished in the top 9. It's quite an accomplishment, as this competition is no joke, as it includes some of the very best in the country.
Well, placing 2nd, I was going against some of the best people in the U.S. and actually from across the world. There's people that come in from Italy, Greece, Germany, France to compete. Placing 2nd for my 2nd time competing, I was very happy with that.
Carmine's Pizza will be flying to Naples, Italy in June to compete in the Caputo Pizza Cup, the largest pizza competition in Italy. That's exciting. We wish them the best. Well, Joplin Bank is helping to ensure families in need do not go hungry. Great Southern Bank employees donated meals to the Ronald McDonald House. Employees delivered the meals and met with families. Officials say it serves as a team bonding activity, all for a good cause.
It saves financially for the families, but also, again, taking away the stress. They can walk in, enjoy a good meal, and just fill themselves up. Because to fill up and serve a child that's sick, you have to be healthy and cared for as well.
Ronald McDonald House provides temporary housing for families with seriously ill children in the hospital. 2 elementary schools met in Carthage to host a Lunch with a Loved One event. Family members and friends gathered at Columbia and Steadley Elementaries to enjoy some lunch. Now, officials with the school district say the event gives family members and friends the chance to enjoy time with their loved one at school in a social environment.
And so we offer an opportunity one time a year for each grade level to invite their guests, friends or family to come have lunch with them. It's just we like to reach out to our community and help our families know that they're welcome. It's really exciting for our kids to have a guest and be able to show off their school to their family.
Close to 100 kindergartners participated. On Wednesday, some local 5th and 6th graders participated in a cardiovascular screening program at Barton County Cox Hospital. It's for the health program Cardiac Kids. Cardiac stands for Coronary Artery Risk Detection in Area Children. It's a cholesterol screening program that identifies Berry and Lawrence County 5th and 6th grade students at risk for heart disease and diabetes.
With Committed to Kids, we really want to help get our kids moving, get them active, help them to learn about improving their nutrition, and also help them with improving their mental health and increasing self-esteem.
The program began in 2003. During the 2021-2022 school year, 43% of students were overweight or at risk for becoming overweight. That's according to Body Mass Index. This morning, we're discussing being an organ donor.
Now, for Larry Koch and Lauren Hirlehy, they've always had a tight relationship. When his kidney disease progressed to stage 4 last summer, the then 77-year-old was told dialysis might be the next step, and if he didn't get a donor, and fast. And Hirlehy knew that she could offer the quickest solution.
The decision was emotional for both of them, but it was one that Hirlehy says was obvious, due in part to her expertise in the medical field at UNC Health. They left with a peace of mind and another memory together each year. This time of year has turned into a celebration of life for the family.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Are you an organ donor? So far, 100% of you say that you are. So make sure you take time to vote through our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so in our app and, of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, after 56 years, one family finally gets to bury their loved one.
Plus, an ancient scoreboard once belonging to the Mayans is found in Mexico. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, South Korea issues a yellow dust risk advisory as dust that originated from winds blowing out of the Gobi Desert and Inner Mongolia blanket South Korea. The advisory has been issued for all 17 cities and provinces in South Korea. The first of the 4-level fine dust advisory was issued Tuesday afternoon across the country. The level of the advisory was raised on Wednesday morning as average hourly concentration of fine dust particles that are 10 micrometers or smaller remained over 300 micrograms for more than 2 hours. 17-year-old female bear, known by Italy's National Institute of Wild Fauna as JJ4 and by animal rights group as Gaia, has been sentenced to death after being identified as the one that killed 26-year-old jogger Andrea Papi on a jogging trail in Trento in early April. Papi's mauled body was found on the trail after his family reported him missing when he did not return from a run on April 5th. The Trento coroner determined his cause of death April 7th as a fatal bear attack after an autopsy. DNA material, including feces left at the scene, was sent to the National Forestry Department's Registry of Bears for positive identity, which was confirmed April 12th, the same day of Papi's funeral. And what's believed to be an ancient Mayan scoreboard has been discovered in Mexico. Researchers think it was used in a game called pelota, similar to soccer. Archaeologists unearthed it at the famous Chichen Itza site in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The circular stone piece is about 12.5 inches in diameter and weighs 88 pounds. It's carved with hieroglyphic writing and shows 2 players wearing headdresses standing next to a ball. Very cool. One of Russia's most active volcanoes erupted this week, engulfing several villages in ash. It happened in Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula, east of Moscow. The Shivluk volcano erupted early on Tuesday, spewing clouds of gray dust up to 12 miles into the air. Now, that ash fell over several villages who are currently dealing with snowfall, creating a muddy mess for locals. Residents are now urged to stay inside as ash continues to fall for a second day. Several schools in the region have been shut down. Scientists say this fallout is the biggest in nearly 60 years. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
All right, we've still got our thunderstorm chances as we head into our Friday. You'd see, though, the elevated risk has been backed up to just our far western counties and that low risk across most of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and just stretching into parts of southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas, and then maybe a thunderstorm or 2 as we head into Saturday morning. So this is, again, a very fluid situation, and there may still be some additional changes as we get closer to Friday, but let's take a look at what's expected right now. We go about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll see a line of storms start to roll into our western counties. We could see some strong to severe thunderstorms with this. However, here we are at 9. Watch how quickly that line just falls apart. And then we're left with maybe some strong storms in our far northern counties and otherwise showers and maybe a rumble of thunder in southeast Kansas. And by early Saturday morning, we are clear, at least briefly, but you see the spin and the arrows. That's that low pressure system and the cold front rolling through. So as we get on the backside, late Saturday morning, we could see some additional thunderstorms. But the good news is with these, we're not anticipating any severe weather with those thunderstorms as they roll on through the area. Back behind that front, we'll get a bit chillier. 55 in Joplin right now, south-southeast breeze at 7 miles an hour across the region. A little cooler in parts of southeast Kansas, 44 Neodesha, 46 Independence, 55 Miami, 54 Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, 53 Fort Scott, and 53 in Iola. When we get our day started, we'll have those partly cloudy skies pushing to about 70, maybe even the lower 70s by late morning, ahead of another very warm day as we look at highs pushing into right around 80 degrees. And some of us in southeast Kansas could even push lower, possibly mid-80s today. We'll have otherwise partly cloudy skies, could be breezy from time to time, but nothing too crazy out there today. This evening, partly cloudy, mild. Check out these temperatures, 76 at 6, 69 by 8, 61 at 10 o'clock, and we will eventually drop back down to an overnight low of 53. For us tomorrow, we're still expected to make near 80 degrees again with these thunderstorms, and Saturday, we're going to start initially and have a high in the mid-70s, but once that cold front pushes through, temperatures on the backside will drop, but the good news is we're not talking a major drop, but we'll get back into the lower 60s as we head through Saturday, and that does allow us to cool cool off, though, back into the 40s for a couple of nights. Not too bad on Sunday, sunny, mid-60s, lower 70s by Monday, pretty decent day. Watching thunderstorm chances on Tuesday, watching the possibility of maybe a couple of strong storms Tuesday evening as well, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Mid-70s, near 80 Wednesday, 80 on Thursday, morning showers Wednesday, and we could see some pop-up storms Thursday into Friday, and then we'll drop back down into the upper 60s, lower 70s as we head into next weekend. We got a lot more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
For more than half a century, an Alaskan family has been looking for answers about what happened to their loved one, a naval aviator who went missing during the Vietnam War. Now, 2 years ago, they finally got that answer. And now this week, his family prepares to say their final goodbyes. Georgina Fernandez reports.
They and the Air Force never stopped looking for their missing.
No man left behind.
Every year you would hear something from them.
It's been over half a century since Lorraine Chevet of Anchorage lost her older brother, Lieutenant Paul Chevet, a naval aviator who was on his final day of his third tour during the Vietnam War. He vanished during a mission over North Vietnam in 1967.
Mom and Dad were waiting to hear from him that he had come back to San Francisco. And then they got the news that he didn't come back.
For a decade, he was considered missing in action before being presumed killed in action in 1977. Then over 5 decades later,
I mean, look at 54 years, and they finally found him.
They got the letter they've been praying for.
He wrote a letter to my mom saying, "I think we have found your son."
In 2020, the government of Vietnam turned over what were believed to be Paul's remains. In 2021, scientists with the DPAA, the Defense Prisoner of War and Missing in Action Accounting Agency, were able to make a positive identification, and he was officially brought home.
A closure. Paul was home.
Now nearly 6 decades since Paul went missing, his family is preparing for their final goodbye.
It'll be good.
On Friday, Paul's remains will be buried in their family plot in Washington alongside his mother's.
Paul has been found, and Paul is coming home, Mother, and he is home.
A son finally coming home to his mother.
She would be ecstatic. She'd be in tears, and she'd be so happy that we were all together and that she was going to be there with Paul.
A family forever reunited.
In total, Charvet participated in 147 combat missions with 533 hours in combat. We thank him for his service. We'll be right back. Meet Pearl, the world's shortest dog. She's a 2-year-old Chihuahua, shorter than a popsicle stick and only about as long as a dollar bill. The pocket-sized pup is the new official holder of the Guinness World Record for shortest dog alive. She was born in Orlando, Florida, and is actually related to the previous record holder, Miracle Millie, who had the same owner. Now, Pearl's owner says she's a bit of a diva. She enjoys eating high-quality food like chicken and salmon and loves dressing up nice. Oh, she's so cute. Well, if you've ever tried writing your own wedding vows, you know how important it is to get the words just right. Well, this bride decided to try out a new source of inspiration for her wedding vows. She used ChatGPT. Users can prompt the artificial intelligence chatbot to generate written responses. Elise Wynn says she first did it as a joke and that the output was pretty cheesy, but she says the essence of what she wanted her vows to say was all there. Now, Wynn says she made a few edits and added some humor and personal touches. But as she stood at the altar in February, a good portion of what ChatGPT had suggested was still included in her vows. Wynn says it helped alleviate a lot of her stress and that her husband was on board with it.
I keep saying one of these days I'm going to try and get ChatGPT to write us a forecast and just one time read it and see what it comes up with. However, don't need that for today because it's pretty straightforward. We got partly cloudy skies through the morning, pushing to 70 degrees, maybe some lower 70s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, highs reaching near 80, some of us even in the lower 80s, and we hold on to those partly cloudy skies, maybe a few occasional wind gusts out there, but otherwise not too bad. We head into this evening, again, pretty nice. We stay mild through a good portion of it under those partly cloudy skies. I mean, check out these temperatures, 76 at 6, 69 at 8, 61 by 10, and we will eventually drop back down to a low of 53 degrees. We are watching those evening thunderstorm chances after 7 on Friday, mainly in southeast Kansas, near 80 degrees for us. We're going to start Saturday decently in the mid-70s, and then we'll get some morning storms and a cold front will push through, and on the backside of that, temperatures through the day will fall into the lower 60s. We got a pretty decent day Sunday, mid-60s, another nice one on Monday, lower 70s. Then we're watching additional storm chances as we head into Tuesday. We're watching the possibility there could be a strong storm or two Tuesday evening, so we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, mid-70s, pushing near 80 again by Wednesday with some morning showers. Near 80, if not 80, by next Thursday. Maybe a few pop-up storms. We get a little cooler, lower 70s Friday, a few more thunderstorms out there. Clearing out by next Saturday, temperatures down just a bit as we drop back into the upper 60s. We'll be back with another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, a new report finds people often store guns in an unsafe way around the house. Hear what one local law enforcement officer recommends.
We've got another pretty decent, very warm day for us today, and then we've got some thunderstorm chances moving in. We'll talk about that coming up.
And a brawl over the weekend leads one amusement park in Missouri to enact new policies.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on this Thursday morning, one more day left, and then it's the weekend. And unfortunately, that one more day left does include some thunderstorm chances, but there's been some good news. And as I mentioned yesterday, and we've been talking about, this is a very fluid situation, a lot of variables out there. But for now, the elevated risk area has been backed up to just our far western counties. We've still got that low risk for a good chunk of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and stretching into parts of southwest Missouri. And then as we head into our Saturday, maybe a few thunderstorms in the morning, but we're not anticipating any strong or severe storms. So let's go straight into Friday. About 5 o'clock, so we look out to the west, we'll start to see some showers and thunderstorms out there developing. And by about 7, 8, they're moving into our western counties. This is our best opportunity for some strong to severe thunderstorms through about 9. But watch how quickly that line just falls apart. We're still left with some scattered showers and storms, but nothing crazy. Our best chance for stronger storms now in our northern counties, and then it just dies out. We go into for Saturday morning, early morning, dry, clear. Then on the backside of this system, we start to see a few more thunderstorms develop by late morning on Saturday, but again, no severe weather anticipated. And then after that, our temperatures are going to drop a bit. Not significantly, but a bit. 54 in Joplin right now, south breeze at 8 miles an hour under clear skies. We have 51 Fort Scott, 45 Parsons, 55 Miami, 53 Neosho Carthage. As we get our day started today, we'll have those partly cloudy skies pushing near 70 by late morning, maybe even some lower 70s. As we head into the afternoon, highs near 80. Some of us maybe even the lower 80s out there. Partly cloudy skies, and we drop back into this evening. We're going to stay mild initially. We're going to have those partly cloudy skies back down to 61 by 10. And we're looking at an overnight low right around 53. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A Neosho man may soon head to prison for child sex crimes. A McDonald County jury finds Christopher Kreviston of Neosho guilty of 1 count of statutory sodomy in the 1st degree and child molestation in the 3rd degree. The sentencing for the guilty charges will be set later this month, and the recommended sentences are 25 years and 10 years, respectively, in the Missouri Department of Corrections. Webb City Police identify the suspect in a weekend homicide investigation. That suspect is 51-year-old Nicholas Berry of Branson. Police are still searching for Berry and say he should be considered armed and dangerous. Authorities say on Sunday they were called to a Webb City home about a disturbance. When they got there, they found 39-year-old Maria Whittaker of Joplin unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. Court documents say Berry stabbed Whittaker over an argument about money. A survey by Kaiser Family Foundation finds guns are often stored in an unsafe way at home. The survey finds 3 in 4 adult gun owners in households have a gun either unlocked, loaded, or kept with ammunition. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says they respond to a few incidents a year where a child has gotten a hold of a gun. Sheriff's Office is one of the locations partnering with Project Child Safe, an education program providing free gun locks for residents.
So through a federal program, we're able to obtain these locks at no cost to the agency, which allows us to pass them on to the citizens at no cost. And it's just important for us to have this resource available to members of our community so that they can, again, keep the guns in their homes safe from kids accidentally getting into them.
Sheriff Grove says people elsewhere can get free gun locks by searching for a location from the Project Child Safe website. Some students in Wynne, Arkansas returned to school after nearly 2 weeks off. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders was there to welcome them after an EF3 tornado devastated the town on March 31st. At least 4 people died and dozens more were injured in Wynne. The students are all given free breakfast lunches regardless of eligibility. Governor Sanders has a lot of praise for the community.
Could not tell you how unbelievably proud and what an amazing effort it has been for this community to pull together to be able to do what they're doing here this morning, and that's to get those kids back in the classroom. It is truly a heroic effort by all of these people standing behind me.
One group of students not back in class yet is the high school, and their school was too damaged by the storm for them to return. They'll be going to a local community college for classes later this week. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs a bill requiring Kansans to be 21 or older to legally buy tobacco products. This takes effect July 1st. The current age to buy cigarettes, electronic cigarettes, and tobacco products is 18. The bill received bipartisan support in the legislature last month. Federal government raised its age to buy tobacco products to 21 in 2019. Kansas could have lost federal funds for substance abuse programs if it did not pass the bill. Kansas joins 41 other states that have increased the age to 21. If you and your family are planning a trip to Worlds of Fun this summer, you can expect some changes to park protocol and security after a brawl took place over the weekend. Dennis Evans has the story.
Well, the way that parkgoers and especially teenagers are able to experience Worlds of Fun will be vastly different when the park reopens this Saturday. This all the result of a brawl that took place inside of the park on Saturday night and spilled over into the parking lot before finally being broken up by police as well as park security. Now, as a result of this, the park has instituted what they are calling the chaperone policy. That means any teenager 15 years of age or younger must be accompanied by someone 21 years of age or older to be in the park after 4 o'clock or to stay inside the park after 4 o'clock. In addition to that, the park is also reiterating some other policies that have been on the books for a while that include no carrying firearms, no photographing of other customers that is unsolicited, unruly behavior is banned, as well as, of course, fighting and any acts of behavior. All of these policies, besides the chaperone, have been put in place for a while. The goal is to make sure that Worlds of Fun stays a place that families and other people can come and have fun and feel safe.
These policy changes apply to Oceans of Fun as well. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. On Wednesday, some local 5th and 6th graders participated in a cardiovascular screening program at Barton County Cox Hospital. It's for the health program called Cardiac Kids. Now, in this case, cardiac stands for coronary artery risk detection in area children. It's a cholesterol screening program that identifies Berry and Lawrence County 5th and 6th grade students at risk for heart disease and diabetes.
With Committed to Kids, we really want to help get our kids moving, get them active, help them to learn about improving their nutrition, and also help them with improving their mental health and increasing self-esteem.
The program began in 2003. During the 2021-2022 school year, 43% of students were overweight or at risk for becoming overweight. That's according to Body Mass Index. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. No surprise, we've got Chef Anthony Fisher from Pittsburgh High School in studio this morning, but he may be in for a little surprise. We're putting him to the test this morning. Plus, Danish researchers may soon have a better blood test, one that can detect HIV and hepatitis in the same drop. And Chris has another look at your Thursday forecast. And is that rain I smell? He'll tell us that too. He'll let us know. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. So we've been talking about our Friday storm chances for a few days now, and there have been some changes already. As you can see, the elevated risk now confined to our western counties. We're otherwise looking at a low-wind risk for southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and just clipping parts of southwest Missouri. And then we've got thunderstorm chances as we head into our Saturday as well, primarily in the morning. Let's take a look at what this is looking like. As we mentioned, this is a very fluid situation. A lot of variables in play here for tomorrow's thunderstorm chances. So we'll have updated information for you today at noon. We'll have updated information through our 5, 6, 9, and 10 shows, and again tomorrow morning and by the noon news as well. So as we head into about 7 o'clock, between 7 and 9, you can see this line of thunderstorms in southeast Kansas. This is our best initial opportunity here for some strong to severe thunderstorms. However, once we get past 9, watch how quickly it kind of dies out. Still got some scattered showers and storms, but any stronger storms confined to our far northern counties, and even that is brief. The whole thing looks to just kind of fall apart. Now, again, if any of the variables change, then that will change the course of the storms. But right now, that's what the thinking is. And you see this spin here Saturday morning, and while we're clear for the most part, just some cloudy skies, we're getting ready to get on the backside of this system, and that's where we could see another round of showers and thunderstorms through the late morning, possibly early afternoon hours of Saturday. We're not anticipating any strong or severe weather with these storms, but we could see a few of them again as we head into the afternoon, late morning and early afternoon hours on Saturday. Once we get on the backside of that, temperature's going to drop a bit. We'll talk about that in just a moment on the 7-day forecast. We're at 54 in Joplin right now. Clear skies, south breeze at about 8 miles an hour, and temperatures across the region. A little bit of a cold pocket here in parts of southeast Kansas. 43 Neodesha, 45 Parsons, 46 Independence, 49 in Chanute. Then we have 51 Fort Scott, 53 Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, Monette, Neosho, and we're up to 55 in Miami. As our morning progresses, we will continue to see partly cloudy skies. Could have a couple of gusts out there of wind, otherwise not bad. We're looking to hit 70, if not some lower 70s by late morning, ahead of a much warmer day than what we saw even yesterday. Looking at highs pushing right to, almost right at 80 degrees. Some of us in southeast Kansas, though, could see highs pushing lower 80s, maybe even some mid 80s in our far western counties. Partly cloudy skies persist through the day and through the evening. So as we head into tonight, we stay fairly mild because we're going to be a bit warmer today, so we're a little slower to cool again. Partly cloudy skies, 61 by 10, overnight low of 53. Now, let's look at the 7 days. There's a lot of stuff going on there. The evening storms tomorrow, again, mainly after 7, and right now, mainly in southeast Kansas, up to around 80 yet again. Saturday, we'll have those morning storms. We will get into the lower to mid 70s across the area, and then once we get on the backside of this system, temperatures are going to fall back into the lower 60s. So we're not talking a major drop off, but considerably cooler than where we have been, and that does lead us to a couple of cool evenings. 65 on Sunday, sunny skies. Sunny again on Monday, pretty decent, lower 70s. Highs start warming back up, pushing near 80 by next Wednesday, and we have additional thunderstorm chances on Tuesday. And we're watching the possibility of a strong storm or two on Tuesday as well. So a couple of different things we're keeping an eye on, and of course we'll keep you updated through the rest of the week. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back. Well, it's no surprise that if it's Thursday, we've got Chef Anthony Fisher in studio, but this morning we decided to mix things up and do a little surprise game for Chef this morning, and I'm just dubbing it our Mystery Meat Challenge is what we're doing. We got together with Simon Markets and selected a special type of meat for you to cook with today, but did not give you any clues.
No, you did not give me any clues. And yeah, when the guys over at Simon Market and you
did
guys
you go
get
try to
together-
tell them,
No,
try to get some clues from them?
I did not, but when you guys get together, I get nervous.
Yes, and as rightly you should. So all that I did tell you to do is bring whatever your favorite spices are to work with, you know, what you need. Bring an assortment of cooking utensils. Because you know what we have here, limited supply. So if you want to use some different types of pots and pans, bring those from home. Not really knowing, because I know obviously you would use different ones for different types of meat. And also we have a combo box, I think, from Martinez Produce as well.
I got a combo box from Martinez Produce. I actually got the keto box this week, which gives me a pretty good assortment of fruits and vegetables. Not knowing what you were going to have, I wanted to make sure I had a nice assortment so I could prepare accordingly.
Because different fruits and vegetables, mixing them with your meats would provide different flavors and garnishes as well, and maybe a good side to go with it. Who knows?
Oh, and I even brought a couple things. I have a few things up my sleeve, so.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and unveil our mystery meat this morning.
I'm nervous.
You should be.
Oh, a flank steak.
All right, so we've got a beef flank steak to work with this morning.
Interesting.
What are different ways that you could cook a beef flank steak?
Well, personally, on a beef flank steak, I would cut it into small steaks and pound it out flat, dredge it, and then a hot skillet. Like, I didn't bring my cast iron skillet. I didn't think about it, but I would put it in, pound it out flat so to help tenderize it, throw it in a cast iron skillet with some hot oil with a little flour on it, give it a nice little chicken fried steak feel, or even fajitas work really nice with this. So you can braise this down and to help tenderize it, and you get a nice little roast out of it. There's lots of ideas that we can do with this.
What kind of spices do you have here to work with this morning?
I brought a lot of my own favorite little spices. I brought my Thai chili salt, some chipotle applewood smoke, smoked honey habanero. It's a rub that's wonderful. Some of my smoked onion and jalapeno maple garlic. And I bought some blends that were given to me by a student I have up there in the front that I can grind down to kind of customize.
Okay, so we're going to give you just under an hour for the finished product. You're going to come back on in about 50 minutes with a partially finished product and show us what you're working with. Good luck, I guess.
Oh, yes. This is going to be interesting.
We will be right back. Topping Health Watch this morning, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is looking to the future of COVID-19 as the country enters a new phase in the pandemic. Senior administration official says DHS is launching a $5 billion investment to help develop new types of vaccines and treatments. It's called Project Next Gen. The government is looking to get ahead of the rapidly evolving coronavirus. Now, researchers hope the next generation of vaccines can shut down the infection before it ever gets the chance to make anyone sick. This comes as the public health emergency for COVID-19 is set to end on May 11th. Children born with the help of assisted reproduction are growing up just fine. That's the finding of a landmark study that shows no difference in the psychological well-being or quality of family relationships for kids conceived by egg donation, sperm donation, or surrogacy. Researchers at the University of Cambridge say their findings overturn assumptions that children born by assisted reproduction are at a disadvantage because they lack a biological connection to their parents. It's a rare but potentially deadly virus similar to Ebola, currently causing outbreaks in 2 African nations. And now the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a health advisory for doctors in the U.S. to be on the lookout for Marburg virus. Mandy Gaither has more on the illness and the concern that prompted the warning.
In the U.S., there are no known cases of Marburg virus disease, and the current risk is low. But the CDC is warning doctors to be on the lookout for anyone with symptoms.
Marburg virus is in the same family as the Ebola virus, and it can cause a very, very severe and fatal disease.
Dr. Kristen England with Cleveland Clinic says the illness is not contagious until symptoms appear. These can include fever, headache, muscle and joint pain, fatigue, loss of appetite, gastrointestinal issues, and unexplained bleeding. Right now, Marburg virus outbreaks have only been identified in 2 African nations, Equatorial Guinea and Tanzania. The CDC says there's no evidence the 2 outbreaks are related.
People can get on airplanes, people can travel. It's very easy to get from one part of the world to another today.
In March, the CDC also warned travelers to the two countries to avoid contact with sick people and to monitor their health for 3 weeks after visiting. Marburg virus can spread through contact with an infected person's blood and other body fluids or through fluids from infected animals. It does not spread through the air like the coronavirus.
We all need to be aware, not afraid, but certainly aware of what's out there.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
If traveling cannot be avoided to the areas in Africa where there are known outbreaks, the CDC says not to have contact with fruit bats and primates in those places. Both animals are known to be carriers for the virus. Stay away from those fruit bats. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are watching another pretty decent day across the area. We do have a few clouds out there, otherwise not bad. We're sitting at 54 in Joplin with a south breeze at 8 miles an hour. Across the area, we got 54 Nevada, 53 Fort Scott, 45 Parsons, 53 Miami, and 51 in Neosho. As we get our day started, we'll have those partly cloudy skies warming up to around 70 by late morning, maybe even a few lower 70 readings out there. Heading into the afternoon, it's going to be very warm today. We're looking at highs right around 80 degrees. Some of us in southeast Kansas might even push the lower 80s. We'll hold on to those partly cloudy skies, maybe an occasional wind gust or two, but nothing too bad. We will remain partly cloudy and mild as we head into this evening, eventually dropping back down to 61 by 10 and looking at an overnight low of 53. All right, tomorrow still after 7, watching those thunderstorm chances primarily in southeast Kansas at this point. Otherwise, near 80 tomorrow. We're going to make it to the mid-70s on Saturday with some morning storms. And then a cold front pushes through. Temperatures will drop back into the lower 60s. So that leads to a cooler night for us Saturday and Sunday. Mid-60s on Sunday, lower 70s on Monday, mid-70s Tuesday with some thunderstorm chances. We're watching those storm chances as well. Could be a strong storm or two. Keep an eye on that for you. And then we're pushing back to near 80 by next Wednesday with maybe a few morning showers. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, if you've got a big yard project coming up, you might want to put the shovel down for just a second and make sure you know where the utility lines are before you start to dig.
We've got ourselves another nice start across the area. A few clouds out there, and then we have some storm chances we're watching. Talk about all that coming up.
And Mamma Mia, did you know you can find award-winning pizza right here in the 4 states? KOAM's Shagun Bomdale takes us to Joplin for some world-renowned pizza pie.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bond.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another nice day for us today. A few more clouds today than what we saw yesterday, but not bad. However, we've got those storm chances that we've been watching for Friday. There's been some changes. As we mentioned yesterday and even the day before, it's still a very fluid situation, but the latest updates have scooted that elevated area back to our far western counties and has simply made the low-risk area a little bit bigger and expanded it slightly further eastward into southwest Missouri. And then we've got some thunderstorm chances as we head into Saturday morning and early afternoon. So let's take a quick look at what that's looking like on the future track. As we head into tomorrow evening, we are looking at about 7 o'clock or so. We're going to start to see some showers and thunderstorms rolling into our western counties, and here they are by 9. This is our best opportunity for some strong to severe thunderstorms, but watch what happens as that line quickly begins to die out. Still some scattered showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder or two, but stronger storms should be confined to our northern counties, and then as the evening progresses, that line expected to just fizzle out completely. We go into Saturday morning and we are done with rain, at least briefly. But you see the spin in the arrows here. That's that low pressure system, and that's going to give us an opportunity for some late morning, early afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Nothing strong or severe expected from that, but we could see some additional storms. And then once we get on the backside of that, temperatures will go from the mid-70s to the lower 60s. We're at 54 in Joplin right now. A few clouds, south breeze at 8 miles an hour. Set at 52 Pittsburgh, 49 Chanute, 51 Chatopa, 53 Miami, 51 Neosho Monette, and 53 in Carthage and Lamar. We get our day started, partly cloudy skies, could have an occasional wind gust, otherwise not bad. Pushing near 70 by late morning, maybe even some lower 70s out there. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs pushing near 80, partly cloudy skies, and this evening another mild one, partly cloudy skies, and eventually dropping back down to 53 for the low. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Carmine Pizza in Joplin, Missouri recently made waves in the world of pizza. The International Pizza Expo is a renowned competition where pizzerias from all over the world gather to showcase their skills and creativity in pizza making. Now, the competition is divided into several categories, including traditional pizza, non-traditional pizza. Shagun Bombele has more.
Carmine's Pizza entry in the International Pizza Expo was a classic traditional style pizza. The pizzeria made waves by winning second place in the traditional pizza category.
And in that category, there were 90 competitors, and I placed second place. So I took second, and then I also placed first place. I'm on the Galbani Pro team, so I placed highest on the Pro team too.
Competing with several world-renowned chefs, Bill says he is happy with his results.
Placing second, I was going against some of the best people in the U.S. and actually from across the world. There's people that come in from Italy, Greece, Germany, France to compete. Placing second for my second time competing, I was very happy with that.
With the newfound fame, Bill says he can't keep up with others.
Business has definitely increased since I won. It's probably doubled our business since last week. So yeah, we're definitely struggling to keep up with it.
Bill says there's a reason his pizza stands out.
So once again, the difference in our pizza is the way we ferment our dough. A lot of places they make the dough in the morning and they use it the same day. We give our dough time to ferment. So that's the big difference.
Well, Carmine's Pizza will be flying to Naples, Italy in June to compete in the Caputo Pizza Cup. That's the largest pizza competition in Italy. Well, springtime means time to do some yard work, but be careful before you dig into the ground. Spire Gas wants its customers to dig safe even before they dig. So even if you've got a big project, resist that urge to just start digging. Mike Fernelli from Spire Gas encourages their customers to notify utility companies 3 days before beginning a dig.
Plan it out. We need a 3-day notice. When you call in for locates, it's a 3-day grace period to have those locates performed. And to give the companies enough time to get there and mark all their utilities so you know that everything's been marked and you know there's nothing there or maybe something's in the way.
And that number is 811. Just go to call811.com to schedule an inspection before you dig, and dig safe. Pitt State construction students got a chance to meet with businesses from across the country. On Wednesday, the university hosted its construction expo. Officials say it featured more than 100 vendors and about 800 people attended. The students got to test the latest industry equipment and meet with businesses about potential job opportunities.
Really, I hope they take away the networking opportunity that is not seen at any other university across the nation. You can go ask all the other vendors here. They don't do this anywhere else. This is their second biggest show outside of a World of Concrete, which is held in Las Vegas.
The Construction Expo started in 2013 with only one company. On Wednesday, 2 elementary schools met in Carthage to host a Lunch with a Loved One event. Family members and friends gathered at Columbia and Steadley Elementaries to enjoy some lunch, and officials with the school district say the event gives family members and friends the chance to enjoy time with their loved one at school in a social environment.
I've lived in Carthage almost my whole life, so I just like helping out in the community. Plus I work for a business that is very community minded, and I went to Columbia when I was a kid, so I just like coming here and paying it back, getting to see some old faces and meet some new ones.
Close to 100 kindergartners participated. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the latest reports show inflation slowing down, but the price of goods continues to stay high. Is there a balance for everyday Americans? We've got the details.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day across the 4 states, but storm chances are on the way. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
In Consumer Watch this morning, NPR says it's quitting Twitter after the platform slapped a state-affiliated media label on it last week. The announcement came the same day the BBC released a wide-ranging interview with Twitter owner Elon Musk. during which Musk said he'd sell the company if the right person came along. Musk also defended the company's mass layoffs, pushed back on reports that hate speech has grown on the platform under his watch, and admitted that he sometimes sleeps on a couch in the library of Twitter's offices. And Warner Brothers Discovery is combining the streaming platforms HBO Max and Discovery Plus into one service called Max. The rebranded streaming service will combine offerings from the company's multiple holdings, including Warner Brothers, HBO, HGTV, and more. Among the new shows, it'll feature a first ever Harry Potter series with J.K. Rowling serving as executive producer. Max will launch May 23rd. Amazon is taking new measures to try to get customers to return fewer of their online orders, and that includes charging a fee to return items to UPS stores. Amazon will start charging customers a $1 fee if they return items to a UPS store when there is a Whole Foods Amazon fresh grocery store on Kohl's closer to their delivery address. Amazon owns Whole Foods and Fresh and has a returns partnership with Kohl's. Also, Amazon recently started flagging frequently returned products on its website. Amazon is adding the badge to product listings on items with, quote, significantly high return rates for their product category. The badge might give customers pause before buying the item. A new report shows inflation is slowing down, but high prices continue to strain Americans' budgets. Naomi Ruckham reports.
For the first time in 2.5 years, prices at the grocery store went down. The tiny 0.3% drop from February to March is a sign inflation is moving in the right direction. Used car prices have fallen 9 months in a row, and the cost of rent is stabilizing. Overall, inflation rose 5% in March, the lowest annual increase in nearly 2 years, and way down from the more than 9% jump last summer.
This is a good report. I mean, we are seeing the pace of inflation start to decelerate.
The trend can't come fast enough for families struggling with rising prices. Many food pantries, including this one in St. Joseph, Missouri, are seeing higher demand.
It's the cost of just keeping the staples on the table that is, I believe, driving people to look for their local food pantry.
The Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to bring inflation down.
The Fed has already increased interest rates by almost 500 basis points, almost 5% in just about a year.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the board now has to decide if another boost is needed.
I think the Fed is going to have a difficult decision. Prices are coming down already. They don't want to slow things down too much.
Slowing the economy too much could lead to a recession. The Fed will make its decision on rates next month. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got absolutely, I want to back this up and show you some of these skies. So first you can see it's purplish haze here on the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. We're going to show you our tower cam in just a moment. We've had some, well, it's kind of going away. It's a shame. All right, let's talk our severe threat real quick. So the good news is elevated risk has been backed up to just our western counties right now, and the low end risk has been expanded across most of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and a little further eastward into southwestern Missouri. And then we have some thunderstorm chances late Saturday morning and into the early afternoon. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the future track for us. So we head into tomorrow. Our day tomorrow ahead of the storms is going to be pretty decent, a little cloudier and very warm. And then here we are at 6. You can see these storms starting to develop out to the west. By 7, 8 o'clock, they move into our western counties. This is our best chance to see some strong to severe thunderstorms. But then watch what happens after 9. That line just really falls apart. Could be some scattered shower storms in southeast Kansas, but the stronger storms are going to stay up in our northern counties, and even they die out pretty quickly as we head into early Saturday morning. We got some cloud cover, but that's really about it. But you see the spin in the wind arrows. That's that low pressure system, and that's going to trigger another round of some showers and thunderstorms late Saturday morning into the early afternoon hours. Now the good news is we're not looking at anything severe, but we could see a few thunderstorms, and after that moves through, temperatures fall quickly back into the lower 60s. So not a major cool down, but a lot cooler than where we have been. These clouds were very purple just not long ago. So unfortunately, the sun moving quickly, so they're not purple anymore. 54 in Joplin, few clouds out there. South breeze at 8 miles an hour. Across the area, we have 52 Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 45 in Parsons, 53 Miami, 51 Neosho, and 53 Carthage, Lamar, and Nevada. As we get our morning started, partly cloudy skies. We're going to get to about 70 degrees by late morning, possibly even in some lower 70s out there, and a few occasional wind gusts, but thankfully nothing too crazy. Same as we head into the afternoon, partly cloudy skies, warming up nicely, talking near 80 degrees, and then some of us in southeast Kansas could even reach the lower 80s out there. We head into this evening, because we're much warmer today, we're again slower to cool this evening. Check out these temperatures, still near 70 by 8, 61 by 10 o'clock, under partly cloudy skies, and eventually dropping back down to a low of 53. All right, tomorrow, ahead of the storms, making it near 80 yet again across the area. That system comes on through. Then we head into Saturday morning, got those thunderstorm chances. We'll make the mid-70s early, and then after the system rolls through, again, those temperatures will start to fall through the lower 60s, and that makes for a cool evening Saturday and Sunday night. Mid-60s Sunday, sunny. Sunny on Monday, lower 70s, mid-70s Tuesday, watching thunderstorm chances. Some of these could be strong. We're keeping an eye on that for you. And then back to near 80 by next Wednesday with some morning showers. Well, we made it to past the hump this week. It sounds like a great reason to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries because we love doing that. But before we get to that celebration, why don't we go celebrate what's happening on CBS Mornings?
I'm Vladimir Dutip. Coming up on CBS Mornings, meet the woman who made history when she bought up millions of acres of land and then just gave it all away to make new national parks. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays across the area. We begin in McCune with Jazz Stewart celebrating birthday number 8. It says, "Love you, sweet girl, from your family." Happy birthday, Jazz.
And I've got Cody Barton celebrating Sweet 16 in Fredonia, Kansas.
And Wyatt Westhoff in St. Paul celebrating birthday number 40. Happy birthday, Wyatt.
And we've got Marva Holt turning 80 years old this year. Looking great there, Marva. Celebrating the big 80 in Columbus.
And John and Debbie McClendon celebrating their 54th year of wedded bliss in Granby. A very happy anniversary, to the McClendons.
All right, and David Yoke in Carterville, Missouri. Happy birthday to you.
And Preston and Sawyer Godsey are twins, both celebrating birthday number 7 today. It says, "Love you both forever and always love your family." And I understand we have one more on this list here.
In light of Chef Anthony in studio today, the Culinary Dragons would like to wish Miss Caroline Sharbut a sweet 16 today as well. And speaking of Chef Anthony, his clock is ticking. He's down to 11 minutes until he comes back on air with his mystery dish.
All right, well, let's make sure we have more birthdays and anniversaries to celebrate. Tanya, how do they do that?
All you have to do is send your birthdays to this email at birthdayswithanS@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website, checking out all the cool stuff, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do, and you get great deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM, so make sure you take time and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, let's talk about our day today. Once we get through the morning, we got partly cloudy skies, maybe an occasional wind gust or two, nothing too bad. Pushing 70 by late morning, maybe even some lower 70s out there for some of us. As we head into the afternoon, we hold on to partly cloudy skies, highs near 80. And again, some of us, especially in southeast Kansas, could reach the lower 80s as we head through the day today. And we go into this evening, partly cloudy yet again, and we're mild because we're so warm today, dropping back down to 61 by 10 and eventually reaching a low of 53. We got those evening thunderstorm chances Friday, mainly after 7 and primarily in southeast Kansas. A couple of those could be strong to severe. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, highs near 80 degrees. We'll have some morning, early afternoon thunderstorms on Saturday. We'll make it to the mid-70s initially, and then temperatures will fall back through the lower 60s once this storm system passes through. Pretty decent day Sunday, mid-60s, lower 70s Monday, sunny again. Watching thunderstorm chances as we head into Tuesday. A couple of those could be strong, so we're keeping an eye on that for you. We're going to push 80 As we head into Thursday, and then we're watching some thunderstorm chances Thursday and Friday, and we start to cool back a bit, back through the lower 70s and upper 60s by next weekend. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Neosho man may soon head to prison for child sex crimes. A McDonald County jury finds Christopher Kriviston of Neosho guilty of 1 count of statutory sodomy in the 1st degree and child molestation in the 3rd degree. The sentencing for the guilty charges will be set later this month. The recommended sentences are 25 years and 10 years, respectively, in the Missouri Department of Corrections. Webb City police identify the suspect in a weekend homicide investigation. That suspect is 51-year-old Nicholas Berry of Branson. Police are still searching for Berry and say he should be considered armed and dangerous. Authorities say on Sunday they were called to a Webb City home about a disturbance. When they got there, they found 39-year-old Maria Whittaker of Joplin unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. Court documents say Berry stabbed Whittaker over an argument about money. On Wednesday, Kansas U.S. Senator Jerry Moran stopped by the National Safety Apparel facility in Baxter Springs for a tour and to talk to local Kansans. Moran spoke with residents about what jobs are available as well as what jobs are needed in Southeast Kansas. National Safety Apparel makes different types of clothing for the post office workers. It includes industrial clothing such as jackets, helmets, and gloves. And the Lowell Milken Center for Unsung Heroes honors 2 unsung heroes. On Wednesday, the center honored the great Onondaga chief Hiawatha and Olympian Billy Mills. The event included a reception and discussion with a special guest of honor, Billy Mills. He is the Olympic gold medal winner of the 10,000 meter at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. 3 students were also awarded $100 for writing and performing a poem about the leader we need. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day today. Highs near 80, partly cloudy skies across the area. Heading into this evening, because we're warmer today, we're slower to cool this evening. Mild evening, partly cloudy, 61 by 10, overnight low of 53. As we take a look ahead, still watching those thunderstorm chances after 7 tomorrow, mainly in southeast Kansas. 80 for the high, mid-70s to start Saturday. Cold front rolls through, lower 60s. Nice Sunday, Monday, more storm chances by Tuesday.
Coming up today at noon, we're making penne pasta toss in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The price of national parks comes regret-free for one... Oh, sorry, I can't read all of a sudden. Well, the price of national parks comes regret-free for one woman. Her inspiring story is coming up on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Chef Anthony is back in the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen for rounds 2 and 3 of his Mystery Meat Challenge.
Plus, KOAM's Amber Jenkins takes us to the Spiva Center for the Arts for a little showcase for a big celebration. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.